We are supercharging the excitement for Euro 2024 with a special giveaway. 3 lucky winners will be celebrating with €100 cash prize each at the final. All you need to do is complete the social tasks on 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐼. The more you participate, the higher odds of winning. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description and complete all tasks now.
Hello and welcome to Odds on Euros, last 16 round. Let's analyze the path of Italy, the path of England. That's why we have here Dani Fisichella and Rennie. Hello, guys. I'm sure you both want to meet next week again for the quarterfinal.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to.
That would mean that Italy and England are in the quarterfinals, but I'm sure we won't talk good things about these teams because they were not good at all in match day 3. Remember, guys, to follow our videos, so you have to subscribe to our channel, and we want to know your opinion. So leave your comments, your tips, and now let's go on with the show. Well, remember that we are going to have 2 shows about the last 16 round. This one, in this show, we are going to talk about Italy, England, Slovakia, Romania, Netherlands, and Austria, Turkey. So go and find the other videos if you are looking for the other teams. First game, Switzerland, Italy. On Saturday, this is the first game actually to be played in the last 16 round. Italy, Dani, I guess you almost suffered a heart attack in the last game against Croatia. Italy played really badly, we have to say, but at the end, 𝐻𝐿𝐴 with a great goal scored in the very last minute. It was the latest goal ever scored by Italy in the Euros, but apart from that goal, Dani, yeah, there were a couple of chances just pushing, but not too much. I was really disappointed about the left backs. For instance, Di Marco is not playing well in these Euros. Di Lorenzo is also suffering. Darmian is not doing anything better. I was not sure also about 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬, Tom's friend, by the way. So perhaps Italy is going to suffer, Dani, against Switzerland, because Switzerland has been one of the most impressive teams, in my opinion, in the group stages.
Of course, it's going to suffer. I mean, it's a round of 16. It's going to be tight, and we're playing one of the most experienced side in European and international football. Look, the Swiss haven't beat us since 31 years. It was my 1993 1-0. I still remember that game. We qualified for the World Cup. They were under the management of the great Roy Hodgson. But having said that, they do come in a very good form, unbeaten in 6, the Swiss, and they have played in the knockout stages in the last 6 major tournaments. Only France with 8 has got a better streak. So they are the team that know how to do it. They are the team that know how to get when it becomes difficult. Italy is not the team that they used to be, and the talk in Italy is, well, now that we advance from the knockout stage, we're going to see the real Italy. Which one is the real Italy? Exactly, the one of Baggio, Baresi, Del Piero. This is the Italy that hasn't qualified to the last 2 World Cups, that won the Euros 3 years ago, in lucky circumstances, we have to say, that has qualified, no, you say, Tom, that has qualified to these Euros in lucky circumstances because Ukraine should have been given a penalty that would have sent it to the playoff. And it is an Italy that is very timid and mentally fragile. Can we save any players from this Italy team? Probably 2. Donnarumma, who's our top player, and in fact plays for a top team in Europe, the only one with a real chance to win the Champions League, albeit Inter managed to get to the final last season. And then we save Calafiori, who's been the revelation of this season in Serie A with Bologna. Very good season for a former left back to play a centre back. You can tell he's good. He's the Italy's John Stones, I think, but maybe nicer in the way he presents himself. But I think the way you play, it's it explains how they want to play. He's suspended, though, against Switzerland, so no point talking about Calafiori. Anyway, Switzerland really sent a tangle to my spine. They've had a lot of experience. Sommer only had to make 5 saves so far. Xhaka, Rodriguez, and they got pace up front, which Croatia didn't have. They never break Italy's line. The Swiss are going to try to do it. Look, I think that draw sometimes in betting is overlooked. People always tend to pick an outcome. Probably this could be a draw. 15 of the last 26 Italy knockout games have gone into extra time, including 4 of the last 5. Only Spain has played more extra time in tournaments than Italy. Only Spain have gone into penalties more than Italy, 11 times against 10. It could go well to penalty. Jorginho missed 2 against Switzerland in the last qualifier to World Cup. Please don't get him anywhere near the penalty spot. Having said that, Italy, Asian handicap 0 in the first half, 170. Maybe they will see the real Italy. Who knows?
Yeah, what is the real Italy in the last years? For instance, you mentioned the last head-to-head between these two teams were in the road to Qatar, and they drew both games. Italy, as we all know, didn't qualify for that World Cup. In 2021, Italy beat Switzerland 3-0. But we have, for instance, in the last Euros, Switzerland knocked out France in the last of 16, and they are not this far from Italy, at least. Tom, they are not as far as the odds show us, because Italy is favorite for this game.
Yeah, they are favourites, but again, with the gambling markets, as we always discuss, there is always an edge towards the team or country you've heard of, because there is a market for the casual flutterer who'll go up to a board and be like, well, Italy are usually good. Does Switzerland play football? And they put a few quid on Italy, and that skews the odds a little bit. So when you look at tight markets like this, you've always got to take that into account. What that does give us is things like Switzerland at 3.2 to win. That is just a really good up and down W money bet. And Danny's made the point really well. It's a really, really good Switzerland team, and an Italy who have been so up and down over the last 5 to 6 years. It's so difficult to work out exactly who they are. But I love this Switzerland team, and I love them for a quarterfinal berth here. And I'm going to take them to win at 3.2 as my bet, because I think they have a great flexibility in defense. I think they have great experience in people like Manuel Akanji and Fabian Schär. I think 𝗀𝗏𝗏 Xhaka, as we discussed previously, is low-key one of the best players in European football right now. It feels weird for certainly Premier League people like me who've watched him for years going, hey, there's a player there, but we'll find him at some point. Anyone who saw Bayer Leverkusen this season, he ran games. As you know, I went to the West Ham game in the Europa League, and it was his control of the game in the second half that got them through that game. And there are German journalists who have replicated that view many, many times. So they have the best midfielder for me, probably in the tournament, in 𝗀𝗏𝗏 Xhaka. They have an incredibly flexible defense. And look, the offense isn't amazing, but they could all do a little something. We saw it with N'Doye. We've seen it with 𝗵𝗏𝗏. We've seen it with Vargas came on, I thought played quite well against Germany the other day. So they have really decent 6 out of 10 can do something strong offensive players, a strong midfield, and a great defense. And to Danny's point on Italy, I think losing Calafiori is a huge blow. You know, we've seen him so many times this season for Bologna coming out with a ball at feet. I think he's so important for what Spalletti wants to do with Italy. Without him, I don't know who's going to come in to replace him. We'll see. Danny will tell us. But I think without him, they lose that ability to bring the ball forward, which was so important to that late equalising goal the other day. And I think, you know, we criticise Jorginho's penalty taking for obvious and hilarious reasons, but his control of the game hasn't been there in this tournament. And that's what Xhaka has brought to Switzerland, that Jorginho at his absolute best, the last European Championship, he was at his absolute best. And he was able to control games, which isn't quite there. Plus, up front, there's not a great deal of quality. 𝐜𝐭𝐴 is not the player he was 2 years ago, before his injury, long-term injury. 𝐶𝐐⁒, I mean, give me a break. Brilliant when the ball sort of breaks to him with an effort from distance. But beyond that, he doesn't put the effort in. He's never put the effort in. He's a lazy, lazy player. He's too busy thinking about his next tattoo when he should be thinking about, you know, what I'm going to do on the field. So I struggle to make a case for Italy here. I certainly struggle to make a case for Italy in the 90 minutes. But I think, again, as usual, Danny's point is absolutely right. If there is a game across these 4 we're going to look at that's going to go to penalties, it's this one. So for me, take Switzerland win at W money. The other bet is draw at full time, which is W money as well. Add Italy to win on penalties to that, and there's some money to be made. So it's Switzerland in 90, or it's Italy after 120 in penalties.
Remember that the 1x2 market that we are seeing is only for the 90 minutes. And it's true what Tom was saying, Dani. Who would you highlight in this Italy apart from the Donnarumma or Calafiore? I think everyone is underperforming, even Barella or Chiesa.
Barella had a good game against Albania, and then he had to chase the ball far too much time against Spain. Bastoni is good, but has got lapses of concentration. I think he needs somebody like Acerbi next to him and maybe play on a back three. And 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐵 has been good when he came on, but then again, the case is, should he start that game? That's difficult because, you know, it's much more easy to have an impact in the last 20 minutes than start to the first minute. I think Italy needs some wide players that can take the Swiss fullbacks on. They are not renowned for their quickness, for the pace, but yeah, the control of the midfield is going to be very hard.
A youngster, Gonzalo Rodriguez, for instance, playing his first major tournament, for instance. But also, I was really disappointed by Di Marco. So poor. Di Lorenzo, so poor. Darmian, very poor as well. Like, we expected a little bit more from Italy, but now the real tournament, as we always say, starts. This game, by the way, is going to be played in Berlin. This brings Dani Fisichella good memories. Last time Italy won the World Cup was in the Olympia Stadium of Berlin. And there is also good money to be made if you are going for the goals market in this game, because you see Italy and you expect an under, and the bookies, I guess they always think about 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐵, but it's not the case in recent history. And if you go for over 2 goals, pays 2.0. So even with a 1-all result, you get your money back.
Because Switzerland are going to score. Donnarumma has made at least a miracle in all the 3 group stage games. So,
he's playing better for Italy than for.
He's a great goalkeeper. He hasn't got a lot of fans in Italy the way he left Milan. Maybe because they didn't forgive him. But
Donnarumma, no?
Yeah, but he's a top goalkeeper. Come on.
Well, destiny is telling us that if Italy goes through, we are going to see 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐵 playing against Tom Rennie's national team, which could be really funny event. And Italy is stepping on the pitch on Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. German time, England, Slovakia. We can say that England was kind of lucky with this draw. They are super favorites, 1.45 England to win, but I'm sure everyone is criticizing Southgate and the English national team because it looks like the players are other from the ones that we are seeing with the clubs. Bellingham underperforming. Harry Kane is not the Bayern Munich striker. Foden, same. He's, by the way, he was in England because he's father for the 3rd time and he's only 24 years. We have to highlight this.
He's trying to beat my record. Yes. Well done, Phil.
I'm a bit late.
Congratulations, Phil. Stop while you can.
I'm a bit far from
this record. If you can.
Tom, usually is good going for England to win in a low-scoring game, England to win in a clean sheet. Also, in Southgate's era, the good thing was the knockout rounds. England knows how to negotiate this kind of ugly games in the past, 1-0, 2-0, and you go through to the next stage.
Yeah, and it's made us a lot of money over the years doing that with England because I think this will follow the same pattern as well. It's going to be almost unwatchable at times, and I think they are going to go through, maybe nicking a goal in the second half. Look, we just simply do not have the time on this program to go through all the many discussion points on England right now. The amazing thing about England is that, you know, as with Italy, as with Switzerland and Austria, this is the better side of the draw. You know, all but one of the seeded nations are on the other side of the draw, and this is the one you want to be on. So England, as per usual, have got very, very lucky in the way the group has shaken out. But who would put money on them walking through that door? And the frustrating point is, you know, we talked about this the other day and we were disappointed again. It's been nearly a decade now that Gareth Southgate has been building to this moment. They probably should have won the last European Championship. They should have done better at the last World Cup, despite that really good performance and elimination against France, all of that. When we get to this competition, and it sort of feels like Gareth Southgate was parachuted in 1 week before the tournament and had not met the players. You know, the nation is screaming out for a midfield that makes sense. And his 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐵 comment the other day was a bit wild, but also he landed on his number 8 in 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐵. He hasn't got him anymore, and he doesn't think he can make Jude Bellingham into that player, which is a bit ridiculous. It's evident Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham can't play together in two sort of roaming number 10 positions. It's evident Harry Kane needs runners on both sides to accentuate his brilliant passing ability. It's evident you don't play Kieran Trippier wide left if Phil Foden ahead of him is also going to come inside, because an entire third of the field gets closed down. You know, I could go on and on about this. It's so obvious, these issues, and yet Gareth Southgate seems to have not made plans for them, and he's not made plans to fix them. And I thought it was quite interesting against Slovenia that suddenly he's making sort of almost wild panic changes. We should be seeing Anthony Gordon play on the left. If you're going to play Saka on the right and Kane in the middle, that gives great balance. And if you then want to change it, you have someone like Jarrod Bowen to bring on to still give that width. Without width, Harry Kane does not work. So do it, Gareth. Let's see it. And we didn't see it against Slovenia for more than, 4 minutes? Ridiculous. Cole Palmer's been exceptional this season for Chelsea. No one saw that coming. Foden is playing poorly in the position he has been given. Jude Bellingham was awful against Slovenia. Not just what he gave on the ball, but off the ball when the ball was cut back towards the penalty area. He's not there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's tiredness. Maybe it's not knowing his position. It could be a whole bunch of factors. But the eyeball test is it's not working. The manager should be the one to fix it. And the manager seems like he's got no idea what to do. And it even goes to the fact there isn't a backup left back. It's obvious someone needs to give width on that left-hand side. It's not going to be Trippier. He then brings back Alexander-Arnold for 10 minutes as a right back when he was the starting midfielder 3 days ago. And then suddenly there's balance because Kyle Walker goes on the other side. And it's like, oh, Kyle Walker can actually give the width on the left-hand side. So why don't we do that? But we're discovering that with 6 minutes to go in the third group game after 8 years. So and that's just some of the discussion that's happening in England right now.
You look
it's
a bit pissed, Tom, I can tell.
It's just so inexplicable that we could get to this point. And we spoke about Italy, right? If Spalletti was making these errors at Italy, you'd be like, yeah, fine. He's been there for like a few months or whatever, right? It's been no time. So, of course, he's trying to work out who he likes and who he doesn't, what's good and what's not. It's been a decade. So, look, I think England will get through here. This is probably the best draw of all the draws you could have possibly got of the nations that are left. Slovakia are a team that I think against Romania showed some pretty decent qualities. They can score a goal. They're a pretty standard 4-3-3 sort of team. They do have width on either side of a central striker. The midfield is solid if unspectacular. And defensively, 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐵 a good player. I think 𝗵𝗏𝗏, a few years past his best, but can still make a decent save. There's elements about Slovakia that are a perfectly competent, well-organised team. But what you're going to see is almost the exact same game as Slovenia, which will be a 4-3-3 that goes into like a 4-6-0 low block when England have the ball and pass it left and right and left and right and left. And eventually they'll get a penalty in the 80th minute to win it 1-0. So England win to nil. England win under 2.5. Under 2.5 is a double your money bet at 3.0. England win to nil is just under. I mean, look, it's what's going to happen. They don't concede many goals. They're pretty solid. I would probably just put your bet on and let someone tell you the score afterwards because it's going to be unwatchable.
Well, the under market pays all right, actually. It's 1.8 for under 2.5 goals. Under 2 goals is 2.5.
Take it.
It's very likely to see a 1-0 win, for instance, for England. We saw this game in the Euro 2016 and was a goalless draw. By the way, Slovakia, Romania, Dani, we analyzed that game and you said you were pretty clear that that was going to be a biscotto. We have to say that if it was a biscotto, they are great actors because
yes,
there were many chances in the game. It was kind of entertaining, but at the end they grabbed the draw. Remember that Slovakia, a bit lucky, but they were able to beat Belgium. I mean, Belgium is
1-1
Brazil with Ronaldinho and Ronaldo, but
look, 1-1. Franco Calzone and 𝐻𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐼𝐴 are two geniuses because they took a long way around to get exactly to the point they wanted to, which was a 1-1 draw, but they made us all believe they both wanted to win the game. It shows that both Slovakia and Romania got frailties, but in the end they understood, okay, it's better if we just draw 1-1, which is exactly what happened. England are just basically almost there into their mutation, into their transformation into Italy of mid-90s. They're becoming a tournament team. Start slowly, grow into the tournament, reach the semifinals, and then anything can happen. Italy 94, Italy 98, Italy of 2000. This is what is happening to England. Star-studded, full of talent, perhaps not knowing exactly how to play in the best position all these talents, but extremely composed and extremely effective. There's no reason to be so gloomy about England, what I read on the press, because in the group stage you can only lose the Euros. You're never going to win the Euros in the group stage. Of course, you expect to play better, but you qualify first from a very easy group, a group that had less goals than the entire goal scored by Germany. But job done. And they are the fourth successive time they qualify from the Euro group campaign without losing. Chances of winning the Euros for England, not say by me, but by supercomputers, you should trust them, 26% chances of winning the Euros. They started at 20% 2 weeks ago, so +6. Of course, the draw helps. 46% chances of being in the final. It's a perfect scenario for a team that doesn't play extremely well, but you only need 2 or 3 players to click, and England has got a margin of improvement that is massive. The same cannot be said about Spain. Do you think Spain can play better than what they actually did? Probably not. They might revert to the mean. Germany can improve, maybe Portugal can, but England and France have got the biggest margin to improvement. If they do manage to do so, maybe once they get out of the group, I think you can be in for a good run. Not saying it's going to be spectacular. This England is very low for expected goals, 1.5, same as Slovakia. But also, England has got the lowest expected goals against, 0.84. I don't remember Pickford making a great save. I don't remember any strikers of Slovenia, Serbia, whatever, being a 1-to-1 to Pickford. Okay. I think with Slovakia is going to be a very similar challenge. Slovakia's numbers, to be fair, attacking numbers are better than England. They got more shots, they got more attempts overall, but they haven't played anybody as good as England. And against Belgium, Belgium had the ball in the back of the net twice, and they were disallowed. 𝗵𝗏 has already made 12 saves in these games. I think Slovakia are set up to play a low block. England is going to be very patient. Maybe Slovakia with a player like Lobotka can try to dictate the game a little bit. I can see only one outcome is England winning this 2-0, and I go for under 2.5 goals, 181.
This is seeing the glass half full, Dani? Optimistic person, of course.
No, optimistic.
If you play crap,
it's realistic. Tom, don't you agree? What's the point? I mean, you have. It's good to see margin of improvements.
I think the comparison to Italy in the 90s is nice because you won things and made finals and more interesting. And so I'm happy to take that comparison. And I hope it's right. The issue with, that Italian side, we could go through the incredible, legendary, world-class players that were there. I don't think this is that. I think it's good, but I don't think it's as good as the England squad in 2004. We should have, but maybe they'll prove that over the next few weeks. But I just don't currently see the avenues for improvement because I don't think the manager is able to make them. That's the issue.
Well, this game, by the way, played in 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐺. If England and Italy win, they will face each other in the quarterfinals. By the way, you still have time to participate in our competition in 𝐿𝐵. You can get 100 euros cash prize. So you just have to tick all the boxes, social challenges that we've put together. And you have the chance to win this prize. You have the link in the description to participate. Let's analyze the other 2 games we have in the weaker part of this bracket in the Euros. Romania, Netherlands. I guess Netherlands and Koeman, they can be very happy because they are third in the group and they are facing Romania, theoretically an easy rival. And then the winner plays Austria or Turkey, like someone was saying that I was pronouncing the name badly. So Netherlands can be very happy. They lost to Austria, the team, we know that they can score goals, but yeah, they also conceded a lot of goals against Austria. Probably only 𝐻𝐿𝐵 is playing all right. I'm not quite sure about 𝗵𝗵𝗍. He looks more to me like an NBA player than a football player. And Romania really, really happy being in this last 16 round. I think last time was when 𝗍𝐿𝐴 was still playing, or Radio
2000.
𝐬𝐿𝐴 on a great Romanian team. Dani, when Romania faced a good team like Belgium, they lost. They are here because in the first match, they were able to surprise Ukraine with the mistakes made by Lunin. I guess we should place Netherlands as favorites, but the odds are quite low, in my opinion. 1.5, this Netherlands team, they are not that reliable.
Romania surprised everyone, perhaps surprised even themselves with a 3-0 win against Ukraine, which flattened them a little bit. I think Ukraine probably played better, and the first goal is a great goal from 𝐻𝐿𝐴, but it's a bit of a gift from the Ukrainian goalkeeper. And then the other two, yes, a bit of scrappy in the 6-yard box. But Romania, the question is, have they learned from their mistakes? Because they can leave themselves a bit exposed against Belgium. Again, Belgium had a goal disallowed. And it's the first time they ever topped the group. It's a group of players with Romania with no stars. Whereas at least Slovenia, Slovakia, they got 𝐋𝐞𝐭, they got 𝗵𝗏𝗀, they got somebody you can hang on to. There is no standout Romanian players. 𝗀𝗀 was tipped to be, but he made a few transfers move in his career, followed the money, ended up in Czech Republic, in Saudi Arabia. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is very young, probably inexperienced. He's a strong, physically built Romania side, very athletic, only lost 2 of the last 18, by the way, but it is a team that has deceived the odds, really. Pre-tournament, they drew 0-0 against Bulgaria and Liechtenstein, and we all thought this lot cannot score a goal. They prove many doubters wrong. It is a team that, yes, scored 4 goals, but if you look at the stats and the way they play, they are nowhere near proactive. They don't press very high. They are second worst for balls recovered. They simply don't go for it. And they're very direct. They are bottom for passes attempted. So Romania were going to play long balls and try to catch the back four exposed. Netherlands, they know they have to come back into the games. They did it twice against Poland and almost against Austria. Perhaps they were a little bit unlucky against France. It is a Netherlands side that has lost the 3 best midfielders before the tournament, so you probably need to suspend the judgments a little bit. They seem never the finished article. This time around, for the first time in ages, the back four, it's supposed to be the strongest part of the team, but they've conceded a few silly goals. I can't see them sweeping away Romania. I love the Asian handicap plus 125 for the Romanians, 185, which means if they lose by only 1 goal margin, you still win half the money. Again, this could be another draw.
Yeah, I understand it because Netherlands, they are not spectacular. It's funny that they have quite an easy draw to reach the semifinals. And it's also funny that it's very likely, Tom, that in 4 days they face again Austria. I don't know, this schedule is a bit strange.
Yeah, I mean, we could do an entire program on the bizarreness of the schedule, but with an expanded European Championship, with pretty much everyone bar Scotland getting through, it was always going to be a bit like this. Essentially, the group stages now are A, to embarrass Scotland, and B, to make some more money with another round of 16, right? So fair enough. Let's make some money out of it and have some games. So, though it would be nice if you didn't have to, I'm on, like everyone, on 5 WhatsApp threads going, wait, so who are we playing? And where are we going to be? And what's the game? Like, it's not followable for normal people. But look, to this game, I think Dani has summed up Romania really well. There are 4-1 set of lumpers, a lot of effort, a lot of national pride. Let's not embarrass ourselves. And they've done that. I think it's his job done for Romania at this point. They wanted to get out the group. They got out the group, and they will try to physically overpower the Dutch. And at points in this game, they probably will, as Austria did in points in the last game. Austria was sharper. They were more snappy to the ball. There was a real almost surprise in the way the Dutch couldn't quite handle the intensity of Austria for long spells of that game. And I think there will be windows in this game where Romania are able to do that too. Lump it long, get it down, cause some chaos. And defensively, you made the point well there, I think, about the Dutch defence. It's not as strong as you expect. And I think the reasons aren't that surprising, right? Virgil van Dijk is not the player he was 3 years ago. He's still a great defender, but he doesn't engage like he used to. He has to drop off a little bit more. And Liverpool make concessions for that. They make plans for that. They have cover for that. I don't think the Dutch have done that. I think they plan for having the Virgil van Dijk of 2021. That's not this current player. I think in 𝐿𝐵𝐸𝐴 van der Ven, who came on in the last game, he has to start in this match. I think it's really important they find a mix of Van Dijk and van der Ven in the team, because he's the man who will cover for the current deficiencies that Virgil van Dijk has got. And I'm quite surprised Ronald Koeman hasn't done that. So that's going to be interesting. If they can get the defense right, get the personnel right, the balance right, I think they could cruise to victory here. My issue is, like most, I have no confidence in the coaching acumen of Ronald Koeman. I think he'll probably play a pretty similar backline to what we saw against Austria, and I think they will look a little bit all over the place defensively when they shouldn't. And I think offensively, you know, it's not the strongest lineup of attackers, but as we've seen in all the games, they could all do a little bit of magic. You know, as we saw against Austria, 𝗵𝗫 is doing nothing. Oh, he scored a goal, then disappears for another 15 minutes. They have a lot of hit and miss sorts of players. I'll tell you what's going to happen here, right? Firstly, I think both teams are going to score. I think I'd look at different variants of both teams to score, because I think the physicality of Romania will lead to some reward in this game. But what's going to happen is, at some point in this match, when it's level with 20 to go, it's going to be a real lump-off. They're going to be lumping it forward to 𝗷𝗫𝗏𝗀. They're going to be lumping it forward the other way. There's going to be a chaos of skillful players behind that trying to get the ball down, and things are going to get quite tense. And that's when I think we're going to start racking up some goals in this game, because I can see it being quite nervy. I think Netherlands will feel they're underperforming. Romania will put everything they can into this game, because they've already overperformed a national average of qualification over the last 20, 25 years. And so for me, I think it'll be quite high scoring, actually, because of how little faith I have in both squads, defenses, and coaches. So I'd be looking at over 3.5 goals in this match. Take the Dutch to win it in 90. That brings you in at a pretty astonishing 4.5. And that's a 3-1 victory. That's a 4-1 victory. That's it's bold, I know, but I can see over 2.5 is going to happen. That's not double your money. I want more than double your money. I don't want to bet on anything that's not double your money. So that's how you double it. And I think it'll be a chaotic victory for the Dutch.
Both teams to score is 2.3, which could be a good idea for this game. I guess we shouldn't expect 𝐬𝗫𝗏𝗏, no, to start in this game. I think Koeman was pretty clear when he substituted him in the first half against the Austrian team. Was not his best game, really criticized in Holland, so probably he won't start a single game in these Euros. Again, well, Netherlands quite lucky, we have to say, but let's see how they perform in this game, because perhaps we see a big surprise, because we didn't like the Netherlands we saw against Austria. Austria, for some people, were the dark horse of these Euros, and actually was the most surprising team in the group stages, topping the group with France, with Netherlands, and now they face Turkey. They are favorites for this game. Still, the odds to back the Austrians are good, around 2.0. And if we have to bet, judging what we've been seeing in these Euros, Tom, my money would go for Austria, because I was not convinced also about Turkey, apart from the goals they are scoring. They are all beautiful. Çalhanoğlu's one is a beauty. Absolutely, how he hit the ball.
Yeah, but I would say when it comes to betting, you can't bet on a glorious goal in every single game. It has happened to this point. It's not something I'd be backing here. I'd love to see it. Look, I think with Austria, it's really interesting. They're such a classic Ralf Rangnick team. They're such a classic. I saw their formation build as 4-2-3-1. It's not. It's Ralf Rangnick's 4-2-2-2-2-2-2 formation that he tried to bring into Man United, and everyone kind of pulled their hair out. And it's a coaching formation that disciples of Rangnick have been doing across Austrian and German football for, what are we talking, 10, 15 years? Like, this is the way he plays. It's a classic of the genre. It can go into a 4-5-1 without the ball, but when they've got it, they have two players up front. They have two players that can come narrow and go wide, and they have two defensive holding midfielders who can step forward with the ball if necessary. And it's working incredibly well. Plus, you add an intensity to their game, which has been lacking from so many teams. I think that's worth mentioning here, returning to a point that Dani made earlier on. Starting slow in tournaments is what something that teams have done for many, many generations, right? Austria have not done that, and it's really evident the ones that have gone hell for leather in the first few games to the ones that have held it back. Austria have not held it back because maybe they don't think they can win it, as opposed to England or Belgium or Portugal, who've had a couple of moments where they've been like, well, we're through. Let's calm it down. Let's go through the motions here. Let's get the job done, tournament football style. So I think that's why we've been so impressed by Austria, because they're playing every game like it's the final. And they played that Dutch game like it was the final and executed a brilliant Ralf Rangnick plan. And I think because of that, this will be to their detriment in this particular game. Turkey will treat Austria like big favourites, whereas previously they might have treated them like a level pegging sort of nation, right? I think there will be a general respect for what Austria have done, and that may well be to the detriment of the game, the enjoyment of the game, and what Austria can do in this particular match. In terms of Turkey, the only memory I've got from the game against the Czech Republic is the amount of yellow cards they got. I know the referee lost his mind, right? He lost total control of the game against the Czech Republic, and it was red cards post-match. 𝗵𝗏𝗏, I think, for the Czechs got sent off post-game, or someone got sent off post-game. Was it 𝗀𝗵𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏 maybe, the other one? I forget now. But it was wild, and it was stupid. But I do think Turkey played that game really smart. They played it real smart. They made the Czechs come on. They've got good players. They've got creative players. They've got people who can do damage, but I think it'd be a very similar tactic. They're going to low block. They're going to hope for some magic from 𝗀𝗏𝗏 or Güler or someone to do something for us. There isn't going to be a particularly coherent attacking plan. So for me, I would say it's going to be quite low scoring for long spells of this game. I think the first half actually might be quite difficult for Austria because, again, Turkey are a defensive, aggressive, counter-punch kind of team from what I've been able to ascertain from this tournament so far. I think they'll try and do that, but I think Austria, as the game goes on, will make 5 changes, re-up the energy when Turkey can't, and they'll win it in the second half. They'll improve in the second half. We saw a great improvement against the Dutch in the second half from Austria, a re-energizing as the Dutch fell, the Austrians grew. I'll follow that pattern and say draw at half-time, goalless at half-time, Austria win in the second half. You can get that at 5. That's 4-1 for an Austria second half victory. Really like that. I'm taking it.
Well, the bookies expect goals on both ends. Both teams to score. Yes is 1.8. No is 2.09. These teams, Dani, met in March, and Austria thrashed Turkey 6-1.
6-1, yes. And it is an Austria that looks like a better version of Austria Euro 2021, who almost knocked Italy out if it wasn't for a Marko Arnautovic VAR rule goal. We suffered a lot against Turkey, against Austria in that game. And this is an Austria that presses even higher, is even more intensive, is even more aggressive. First time they won a group since World Cup 1978. So they're obviously onto something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And they're onto something. And credit to Ralf Rangnick. It is one of the teams that crosses the more and better, often with cutbacks, using Sabitzer, is very mobile, involved in all the attacking phase. Only 1 defeat in the last 10 for Austria. And they play against a Turkey side. They're going to be urged on to attack, perhaps, by the supporters. They are the second home nation, almost Turkey. They do play with a great intensity, with a great passion. It is a team, Turkey, that can't and won't park the bus. Against Czechia, in the second half, you couldn't tell Czechia had 10 men. They had a few chances as well. Turkey were unable to put a foot on the ball and control it. It's that drive, it's that passion. And yeah, it's a team that attacks a lot. Turkey are in the top 5 for attacks in the Euro, top 3 for corners, because they got a lot of talents up front. And hopefully Montella will continue to stick with 𝐜𝐿𝐧𝐧𝐸𝗏 and Güler, who he didn't play in the second game. And I think they suffer from that. But on the other hand, Turkey not very good at defending. Only 1 clean sheet in the last 15 games at the Euros. Only won 2 of the last 11. If you look at the underlying stats, these two teams, Austria and Turkey, are respectively 4th and 5th for expected goals conceded, excluding penalties. 5.5 for Austria, 4.75 for Turkey. So you should expect a game with chances, perhaps not with many goals, but with chances and with attacks, which leads me to believe there'll be corners. Over 9.5 corners is my bet, 208. Austria uses the width of the pitch a lot. Turkey, can attack. It'll be corner, not necessarily goals. Doesn't mean they're going to be goals, but over 9.5 corners, 208.
For sure, we are gonna live and enjoy, I think, a really tense, nervy, aggressive game. Turkey, almost the second host nation, you named it. And also Austria, 6-7 hours by car, I was checking, to go to Leipzig if you are in Austria, so not that far. And you can enjoy the game with the
once they were the same country.
Exactly.
Long ago.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up, mate.
Don't say it.
There were a lot of jokes about that group.
I know.
Actually,
We live. Nah, it's just a
Poland and
joke. It's
Austria.
just a-
Well, let's jump into the next topic. And the next topic is that we still have open the tipster competitions for the Euro, so you can participate and win money. Remember to participate, post your tips, and good luck. If you are among the best 20, you win money, and it's always good. Tom, your safe bet?
Yeah, of this lot, my safe bets didn't come in last time. I'm quite annoyed about it. So I feel more confident about this because the biggest mismatch here is Romania, Netherlands. I think Netherlands will cruise to victory.
Dani?
Austria, Turkey, both team to score.
You pronounce it
183,
correctly,
by the way.
Turkey. And the ACCA?
Italy Asian handicap 0, England to win 2-0, Austria, Turkey over 9.5 corners, total odds 703.
Tom?
I think there's three clear favourites of the four. I'm avoiding one of the games because it looks a bit too close to me, but I am going to be taking England, Austria, Netherlands treble. It's a double your money bet. There's three decent favourites in there. I think they'll all get through.
Okay, Switzerland, Italy, stay out of the game.
Yeah,
if you are wondering where are the other games, remember to check the other video in our channel, and you will find Ronan Murphy, Álvaro Romeo talking about the other four games.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
perhaps
Good to
you wanna see what Álvaro is thinking about Spain, for instance. Well, Tom, Dani, good luck, and see you next week. Bye bye.
See you in the quarterfinals. See you later.